Hello everyone. Okay, just before this video starts, I would like to apologize in advance for any of the mispronunciations I make during the video. Please enjoy the video. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be doing an introduction video of United States Seafood Limited Liability Company. Yes, this is part of the GWIL program of 2020. Now, before we get started, my name is Jeremy Lim Kasin. My matrix number is 06DAT 19F1011. I'm from Polytechnic Port Dickson and I'll be semester 3 in class DAT 38 as of the 2020th June session. Now, sustainable wild and fisheries. These are the few words that could perfectly describe the United States Seafood Limited Liability Company. Now, what is this United States Seafood Liability Company? Well, before we dive right deeper into our topic of discussion for today, let me give you a bit of a history lesson. Yes, the history of the company. It was founded back in 2001 and it was founded by these three men. The first man is called Matthew Doherty, the next man is called Jonathan Spool, and the last one is called Udo Brosman. Now, these three names, they are important. They will come up later in my slide. Okay. Now we discuss about the history of the company, right? Now let's discuss about the history of the home port. The home port is basically their base of operations. Yeah. This address here, 1801 Fairview Avenue, East Suite, 100 Seattle, Washington. It is their base of operations. And prior to being owned by the United States Seafood, it was previously owned by the United States Coast and Geodetic Survey. And from the 1960s to 1970, and then it was owned by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, acronym NOAA, from 1970 to the summer of 2011. Afterwards, it switched its hands to the United States Seafoods from 2011 until today. Oh, and this address down here, by the way, 6901 West Marginal Way, Southwest Seattle, Washington. It was the United States Seafoods' former home port. So now let's move on to the next slide. Yes, now I'm going to show you the corporate hierarchy. Yep, remember those three persons I talked about earlier, the three founding members? Here they are. They are the top part of the hierarchy. Now, for the president and CEO, we have Matt Doherty, who is one of the original founding members. And then we have Jonathan Spool. He is the chief marketing officer. And Udo Grossman, he is the chief financial officer. All these three, they were the original members, the original founding members, and they got the top three highest position. And then next we have David Wood. He is the chief operating officer and the chief learning officer as well. And then we go into the lower position. So now Michelle Broom, she is the controller. Phil Gunslow, he is the fishery director, and Darren Manner, he is the operations director. Alright, now with all that out of the way, with all the history lessons and the introduction of the corporate hierarchy away, we can show you the goods and services of United States Seafoods. Now, what is their main source of revenue? Now, their first main source of revenue is, of course, fishing. Where do they fish? I wonder. Okay, since they're based in Seattle, Washington, you may assume that they'll just fish off the coast of Washington. That's wrong. What about Oregon? Its southern neighbor. Nope, guess again. The answer lies at America's last frontier, which is Alaska. Now, Alaska is so big. Where on earth do they fish? Now, here is a map of Alaska I'm pulling up right now, and there is where they fish. Okay, you see the Pacific Ocean at the bottom of the screen, right? And then on top of it, to your right, you can see the Gulf of Alaska. That is their first location that they'll go. Afterwards, you can, if you see at the corner left, the corner bottom left part of the map, you can see the Aleutian Islands. That will be their second destination. And then the center left, there'll be the Bering Sea. They also fish at the Bering Straits and the Chukchi Sea. Yes, so basically all of the locations on the left and the Gulf of Alaska, this is the main place where they'll fish. And then what do they fish? Well, let me show you their catch. The first one is all these fishes. They're all native to that part of the ocean, which is the Northern Pacific Ocean. You have the Edgar Markle, Pacific Ocean Preach, Pacific Cod, Yellowfin Sole, Flathead Sole, and Rock Sole. Yeah, all the sole looks the same, apart from the color though. And then after introducing their fish, well, fishing company is nothing without its fleet. So let me introduce to you their boats. The first one is the Sea Freeze America. Now, this boat has a horsepower of 2550 and it can hold 65 crewmen. Next, you have the Sea Freeze Alaska, which possesses 3000 horsepower and it can hold up to 85 passengers and crewmen. And the last one, you have the Alaskan Knight. Fun fact, the Alaskan Knight was debuted in a magazine for fishery in the America, and it has a horsepower of 1700 and it can accommodate a small crew of 15 men and women. Now we move on to their next source of revenue, which is sales and marketing. Now, nowadays it's quite expensive to hire a middleman, right? So if you catch the fish, might as well you sell the fish. Yes, you get the cut cost in the middleman and you get to deliver the products from the producer to the consumer. Yes, consumer like a normal household, families and companies that uses a lot of sea products. For example, Red Lobster, which is one of America's largest seafood retailer and restaurants out there. And then the last source of revenue, the last source of their main revenue is from moorage. Now, what moorage is allowing boats to dock at a port for a certain amount of time at a fixed rate. Yes. So basically, they have this port right at their home port at Seattle. So if all of their boats are out fishing, and then their ports will be relatively empty, so they can use that port to ferry other ships who are going through the area. Now, I would like to emphasize the importance of the fishery industry. Firstly, it provides employment. For example, The United States Seafood Company, they provide jobs to around 50 people. They don't just provide jobs for fishermen, they also provide jobs for engineers, marketing officers, accountants, many more, because all these people are what makes a company work. And then we have the gross domestic products. Yes, with all these people, they can contribute to the gross domestic products because they are currently producing things, producing items. For example, the seafood that they fish out from the sea contributes to the country's GDP, and from the GDP you have their revenue, and from the revenue the government may tax them. Yes, tax them in a way so that the tax money will benefit the people. So basically, it's giving it so the tax will be collected from them and it will be given back to the American people. So I believe that is all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for watching to the end. Please like and comment what I should improve for my next video or my next presentation. And I will show you where I get my research resources from down at the description. And thank you all for watching. Bye.